So question number 6, the map shows the main distribution of tropical cyclones. Tropical cyclones only form under certain conditions. Many Atlantic tropical cyclones, known as hurricanes, form near the Cape Verde Islands off the west coast of Africa. Suggest reasons. I will suggest why tropical cyclones form near the Cape Verde Islands. Definitely, I'm going to look for them first. I know that they are off the west coast of Africa, so I'm going to look here. I know that tropical cyclones are formed between the tropics because this is the tropical region where the temperature is higher than, you have to memorize the number, higher than 27 degrees Celsius. And you have oceans here, which is the Atlantic Ocean, which means that the ocean depth has to be 60 meters. And definitely it's due to the high temperature in the area. So first of all, I'm going to say that the region has high temperature, more than 27 degrees, as it is a tropical region. Also, it lies along the Atlantic Ocean, which has a depth of 60 meters or more. Also, the latitude is between 5 degrees north and 20 degrees south. And this way, you've got your 3 marks in an excellent manner. Next, suggest how climate change may affect the number and distribution of tropical cyclones. So if you understand the fact that climate change leads to global warming, and global warming means that the Earth has a higher temperature, this means that more regions are going to be having a high temperature that is suitable for the cyclone to form. In addition to the fact that climate change leads to melting of the ice caps, so there will be rising of sea levels, which means that we're going to have deeper oceans. And in this case, the cyclones are going to increase because the conditions for the cyclone to form are going to be available. So let's write that down, that climate change will lead to increase in world temperatures to exceed 27 degrees. In addition to the fact that global warming will lead to melting of ice caps and glaciers, will increase sea levels. Okay. After tropical cyclones, people are often affected by water-related diseases. Explain how tropical cyclones increase the chance of water-related diseases. Simply, tropical cyclones damage buildings, leading to improper sanitation. Sorry. Floods also mean there is stagnant water. So that might cause malaria. That's a water-related disease. The fact that there is a poor hygiene as well leads to the spread of cholera and typhoid. People lost their houses. So they have poor hygiene. And so this increases, as I told you, the spread of cholera and typhoid. State 2 other impacts that tropical cyclones have on people. The people might die, so this will be loss of life. The other thing that they might lose the agricultural land, loss of agricultural lands. that would mean loss of jobs, loss of food, whatever whatever you like, just write that down because they're all gonna be in a correct manner, inshallah. Next question, that's chapter 7 question. Air pollution can contribute to human death. The table shows the number of deaths per 100,000 people linked to air pollution between 1990 and 2015. Plot a line graph to show the number of deaths between per 1,000 people, 100,000 people linked to air pollution between 1990 and 2015. Type. The first step to draw a graph is to label the axes, which means I have to identify which one of them is the dependent factor and which one is going to be the independent factor. So which one goes on the x-axis and which one goes on the y-axis. So in this case, I have the year going to be in the x-axis and the number of people on the y-axis. So I'm going to say number of deaths per 100,000 people. I'm gonna leave that here, and I'm going to write here the years. Next thing I'm gonna do is just count my data. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So I'm going to be dividing my x-axis into equal blocks where I could put my 6 years. So if I'm starting with the first year, which is gonna be 1990, I'm gonna assume myself that this is gonna be 1990. This is gonna be the next one, which is 1995. And this one is going to be 2000. This one is going to be 2005. And then 2010. And then 2015. This is the best scale so far that I could find. I'll fetch myself here in this graph. Other thing I'm going to do is just find out the biggest and the smallest number and to get the scale for the y-axis. So this is the large number and this is the smallest number. So simply I'm going to go and count. I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 small big squares. So I could simply divide them as 50, 100, and 150. In this way, I'm going to have proper findings. Okay, so when I'm going to draw, I'm going to find myself at 2000 and 1990 as 110. So I'm going to go up in this line and find myself here at 1990 and 110. Next one is going to be 104. So it's going to be 100, and this one is going to be, I'm just zooming in so that I could find it easier to do the drawing. At 2000, I don't have any data available, so I'm just going to skip the point. I'm not going to draw anything. I'm just going to be waiting to find out what other questions are there. And then 2005, we have 83. So we're going to go here. This is 75. This is 80, and 83 definitely is going to be in the middle. And then we have 75 and 67. So 75 is going to be here at the middle. And then 67 is going to be here. This is going to be 55, 60, 65, and 70 is going to be here. Okay, then what does he want? Does he want a curve? Does he want something? He says draw a straight line between each point. So this is a very direct question. You're simply going to use your ruler to connect the points together. So I'm going to use my ruler to connect the dots in a very simple manner in this way. That's one point. The other one. Definitely it's going to be very easy on the sheet because your ruler and your things are going to be better than just using the computer, but just one way. Okay, so this is how the graph should look like. You're simply going to join the points together using your ruler as in a straight line manner. Use your graph to estimate the number of deaths per 100,000 people in 2000. So you're going to get the number as an estimate of your own work. So I'm going to use the graph in this manner. I'm going to come here at the year 2000 and draw a straight line that strikes directly to the graph, and then find in a horizontal manner what this number is going to be. So this is how it should look like, and this is the number you should get. So it's less than 100, and it should be around 95, 94 in this range. So your range should be as a 94 or 95. This is lower than 95, so I'm just going to write 94 as I see by my own eyes. It might be subjected to a very slight change if in case you have something related with your drawing. And every person should have a different drawing, but you have to lie within the same range as we said. Next, we have this question. One strategy for reducing atmospheric pollution is to reduce the use of fossil fuels. The graph shows the annual percentage change of fossil in oil use in 4 or 5 countries. Explain why annual percentage change is used for the comparison of the oil use. A very simple answer to this question. You just can see for easier comparison, because if you compare with using numbers, it might be a bit hard. But if you're using percentages, like we say that last year it was 20% and this year is going to be 25, so there is a simple percentage change. It's only 5%. And if you're going to compare between countries, so I'm going to say, for example, China has an annual percentage change of, for example, 5%, while India has only 3%. So this means that China has, it gives you an impact that China has a bigger population, or more industries, or so forth. I'm not going to details, but I'm just going to explain why I said so, why I said for easier comparison. Or actually, you could say for easy analysis of the data. This is another option for answering a question like that. Suggest strategies that Norway has used to reduce its use of oil. So Norway has the highest percentage decrease in the use of oil. So what do you think has happened? I have 5 marks, so I have to write 5 points. So first of all, I'm going to say that Norway may have set laws to allow people to use electric cars, for example. It may have also increased public transport facilities, plus the use of renewable sources of energy. And if you're going to say something like that, you have to mention an example. So, for example, having the solar, or any other type like tidal. Okay. It also may have set taxes on the fuel. Okay, so in this case, we just wrote setting laws, using electric cars, using public transport facilities, renewable sources of energy, and setting taxes on the fuel. So you've wrote 5 points. If you want to write extra points, it's fine, but you're going to be only credited for the 5 points you wrote. Okay, next question. The diagram shows the distribution of water on Earth. So you have 95.7% water in the oceans. The first question used the diagram to determine the percentage of fresh water. So if ocean water is 97.5, so the remaining 2.5% are going to be fresh water. Next, you have ice caps and glaciers being 79%, groundwater 20%, and the remaining is going to be the fresh water on the surface. And this is going to be falling into more than one category: soil in the water in the soil, water in lakes, water in rivers, water in living organisms. And he's asking you what might be the source of water labeled at X. So if I'm talking about mainly the surface water, it might have been on the earth, like in terms of surface water, lakes, and the water in the soil. This is all some examples of water reservoirs on the surface, but the remaining is going to be the water that it's going to be in the atmosphere. So this is the water vapor in the atmosphere. Okay, so if you write water vapor, this is correct. If you write water in the atmosphere, is correct. suggest why the percentages shown on the diagram are estimates, because I'm definitely not going to be able to be very accurate in knowing the percentage of glaciers. For example, you have a climate change that might lead to melting of the ice caps and glaciers. So what was yesterday a glacier is today in the seawater or in the lake or in any other water reservoir. So it's definitely subjected to change. So why are percentages? Because they are subjected to change every day. They are subject to change every day due to the effect of global warming, as I told you. Last page, reservoirs can store large volumes of fresh water for people to use. State two other stores of fresh water that people can use. You can simply say rivers, lakes, ponds, underground water, all are great sources for people to use. The last question is the to what extent question. This might have been the longest question, of course, in paper one. It's very easy because you simply need to write the pros and cons for anything he has to give you in the question. If, for example, in this question, a local government wants to build a dam across a river valley to form a large reservoir covering an area of 10 kilometers square. The reservoir means that the small village and the people living in the village must be moved. So he's already giving you some kind of support in this sentence. A government officer says building a dam has more advantages than disadvantages. To what extent do you agree with the statement? Simply, you're going to say the advantages of building a dam, the disadvantages of building a dam, and a final conclusion summing up whatever comments you want to leave. So in this case, we're going to say dams can help people by storing and supplying water to the nearest village. They can also benefit from cheap electricity from hydroelectric power. Okay. Another thing they can say also, it will help provide jobs. Okay. On the other hand, okay, here, according to the 6 marks I have, I wrote 3 advantages. I'm going to write now 3 disadvantages, and then I'm going to write the comments, the final conclusion, as I mean. So here, on the other hand, people, I could just rewrite the sentence over here. People living in the village will be relocated, or they will be asked to leave their homes. So this is a loss of habitat. They might be, they might also be subjected to floods. In case the dam breaks. And one last thing is the negative impact on the fishing industry if they were using the water for fishing. Negative impact on the fishing industry as fish might die. You have many disadvantages and many advantages. One of the things you can you can add on for the advantages is the fact of tourism, the fact of providing water. We already said that, and other things that could be mentioned as well. Other things you can add on, and on the disadvantages is the fact that the water might be redundant and the quality might be poor because due to the siltation and the soil passing by might not, I mean, the sediments passing by are not going to be passed through the dam. So this causes siltation. On the other hand, the water is not going to provide fertility to the after on agricultural land. So in conclusion, it has been it has been concluded, or it has been seen, or it is seen. So in conclusion, it is seen that building a dam can impact people in a negative manner. So this is how you answer such a question, this is, inshallah, the best way to answer this question and to gain all the 6 marks together. Okay, I hope you understood every single question in this exam, and I hope everything goes well. And I'm really wishing you very good luck for your exam. That's going to be on the 23rd of May. This is going to be a PM session. If you need anything, just ask, and inshallah, everything is going to be okay. See you. Bye.